What I am talking about, and what a lot of people talk about who do data sovereignty work, indigenous sovereignty work, research about this, is that we do not speak about indigenous peoples as being a racial group or something like that. When I talk about if tribes were, impacted and they were offended, that's what I'm talking about. You see, the Apache tribes, which there are a few, as well as Pasquayaki, are sovereign nations. They have legal authority over who is and who isn't allowed to be members of their tribes, who can claim it. And they have enrolled members, they have descendants, and they have, people who are not quite sure yet. And a lot of it is due to the fact that, a lot of our data, our census rolls, our base rolls, how we used to be claimed, everything else, it's well documented that those things are all murky at best. And a lot of the United States in that time, like the early 1900s, late 1800s, they would actively try to stop counting people or exclude indigenous peoples from being on those rolls. So we do have a lot of people potentially who are indigenous who don't have any way to claim it. And that's something that we do have to reconcile with. But we also have something for tribes, whether it's the Haudenosaunee up in up in New York, Canada, or you have people like the Blackfeet up in Montana. You have people such as the Tohono O'odham. You have the Pasquayaki. You have the Apache peoples down in Arizona. These are all multinational indigenous peoples. So they have communities. They have citizens. They have members on both sides of the border. People who are Haudenosaunee, people are O'odham, people are Yaqui. They're on both sides. And so just because you're a U.S. citizen doesn't necessarily matter. And one of the big claims and one of the big pushbacks for Sacheen Littlefeather in this case is that she, her ancestors did not claim to be Yaqui on their papers. They instead claimed to be Mexican. Well, the reality of that is that a lot of Yaqui people, a lot of Apache people, especially living, whether it's on the border or in Mexico, would not claim themselves to be indigenous. That's a relatively new thing to be openly talking about that, because it used to be, just like in the United States, something where you would be targeted and you would be attacked and you would be treated and ostracized. So a lot of people from back in the day were shamed. And so that's where kind of the big issue comes from, is that we don't know whether or not these claims are valid or not, because all the people are dead. And so prancing about deciding that, oh, actually I'm right, is kind of an insane thing to do. And it ultimately comes down to you're just trying to boost your own character, your